Hi, I'm Bridget Jankowski, and I would like to thank NPM for the opportunity to share some Thursday Thoughts at 3 with you. I'll be presenting 4 sessions, which will be a follow-up to the article that was published on balance of the body in the April 2021 edition of Pastoral Music magazine. We're going to explore in depth just a few of these body mapping points as a way to give you a practical application to them and to help your own musicianship, maybe work with your choirs or your ensembles to help them as well. So the first session today, we're going to talk about the AO joint, and this is the joint where the head balances on top of the spine. So let me show you with a model exactly where that joint is. As a licensed body mapping educator, I have lots of medical models and toys to help in my teaching of these points. So here's my skull. It's not mine, but I own this. And right in the middle are 2 condyles. Right in the middle of the skull. Notice that it's equal distance from the back of the skull, which is right here, and behind your nose. So from here. So it's really in the middle. Here's where the ears would be, and here's where those condyles are. The top vertebrae is called the atlas, and it has 2 little grooves or facets, and the skull just simply rests up there. Skulls weigh 8 to 10 pounds, so the weight of a bowling ball. But when it's nicely balanced, then that weight is easily delivered down the spine. And what happens is there's just this nodding, easy motion right at the center of the head. Now I have some wonderful body mapping colleagues, and they have been contributing some videos and teaching, and I've used them as part of the choral mapping program, but I'm going to be able to share some of them here, so you won't just hear me talking this whole time. So here's Amy Likar, who has an interesting way of finding this joint.
And so when we're mapping the base of our skull and the top of our spine, where I want you to think about is right in between your ears. The other way to think about it is above and behind your uvula. So if you don't know what your uvula is, this is going to be a little funny. Your uvula is that thing that hangs down in the back of your mouth. So here goes. There, you just got a nice shot of my uvula. And the base of your skull on top of your spine is just above and behind that thing that's hanging down. And so you can think of finding some ease and freedom in the balance of the easy balance of your skull on top of your spine.
Okay, so let's just do a little more exploration. You can put your fingers in your ears. You're pointing right to that joint. You can put your fingers right behind your earlobes, under your earlobes, and if you point forward, that's the back of your jaw. And if you point in, it's a little hollow there. Don't point too hard because it will hurt, and that's pointing right into that joint. Sometimes a good way to find this joint is to come off balance a little bit and then come back on. And be careful not to use too much neck muscle, because you can see to do that I have to go off balance. Just give it a very slight, easy nod. Remember, it is right in the middle of your head. Now here's my colleague Kay Hooper, who has a fun way that you can work with this for children's choirs.
There are so many ways we can be confused about how the head actually balances on top of the spine. Sometimes people balance it too far in the back, sometimes they balance it too far in the front. What we really want to remember is that when you have something that is pretty substantial in weight, finding a balance in the center is going to be ideal. Because you can't put your fingers on the AO joint, we have to really sense that joint in movement. So put your fingers either in your ears or right behind your earlobes. And now imagine that they meet in the middle of your head. So now you have a giant finger going through your head. And roll your head over that giant finger. This place is essentially between your ears and behind your nose. So you can also feel movement by pretending that you're writing with the tip of your nose. That will help you realize how high that joint actually is. Take those same two fingers, point anywhere along your neck, and imagine that they meet in the middle of your neck. So you now have a giant finger going through your neck. See if you can roll your head over that giant finger. Which one is easier? This one or this one behind earlobes or right in your ears? I think you're going to be in agreement that it's that higher position that's a whole lot easier.
My colleague Cynthia McGladrey has done some vocal warm-ups experimenting with this AO joint. And it might just give you some good ideas of how to approach this kind of mapping in a choral situation.
So we're feeling that easy movement. As you feel that movement, would you go, ee, here we go, ee. Now, put your thumb, if you're willing, right behind your top teeth and a raise to the skull, and think of this as a teeter-totter, that whole skull from here to here and all the way around as a teeter-totter. And the fulcrum, the place that that teeter-totter balances on, is your AO joint. Boop, 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 boop. Explore that. Find that movement as we again do some 5-note slides. My turn, then your turn. C, your turn. C, my turn again. Z, try your teeter-totter. My turn again. Za, your turn. My turn. Za, your turn. Za. Now, just play. Take a listen. At balance, C. Pull forward off balance, just a little bit. C. Back to balance. C. Listen to it up high. How much does it make a difference in your higher range?
So let's think about how this might work with a soloist. Say I have a music stand and I don't have a boom mic here in my studio, but if I had a boom mic, you can imagine where that would be. And if it's about right here, is your singer going off balance to get to that? If they're proclaiming the psalm from the ambo, are they going off balance to feel like they need to get closer to the mic? And can just a little bit of adjustment with the mic, or even just an awareness that they don't need to be that close to the mic, help them keep their head in better balance as they project the psalm? And think about that, what that would look like to the assembly. If I turn my stand and I'm here and I'm forward, I'm a little bit in your face, whereas coming back I can be more present to myself and to the whole assembly. And here are some examples of how balance of the head on top of the spine can affect instrumentalists. So let's review a little bit. So first, you want to find an easy balance, point into that joint and perceive where it is. And just give your head a gentle nod there. Now that joint, where the skull balances on top of the atlas, is the yes nodding joint. The no joint actually comes between the top two vertebrae. So when we're really finding that AO joint, I just like to focus on the nod, the yes, up and down motion. One of the questions I often get asked is, how do I know if I'm doing it right? And the easiest answer is, you're doing it right if it feels better. Once you embody the truth of your anatomy, your body map will bring your body back to balance and your movement will improve. And those kinds of things are what's going to make you sound better. It's going to make everything about making music easier. So if it feels better, it is better. Thank you. And next Thursday, we're going to explore mapping the hip joint to help get balance of the whole body, including buoyant knees and weight balanced equally between both feet. So I'll see you then.